Morning, Facebook. Another beautiful day. It's not raining right now, but I used to love the rain. For years after I got clean, I loved the rain because it gave me an excuse to stay inside. I didn't feel so bad about myself when I'd be sitting there in that chair watching cartoons and shit instead of being out enjoying life. I still love the rain today, but not for that reason. I love the clouds. Maybe because I don't like the sun beating down on me. I want to talk about friends today a little bit before I go to town. One of the morning meditations yesterday was about friends. I shared a little bit about it last night at the jail. I thought I'd do it a little bit this morning before I got my day started. Anyway, let's turn me around here. There we go. I feel like I've been blessed, man. Well, I have been blessed. I don't feel like it. I have been blessed, my whole life with love and support. I've just been blessed with so many loving friends, man, and such a wonderful life, Feels like I've lived 3 of them. Starting out as a kid, running around Freetown on our bicycles, man. There was a bunch of us, kids in Freetown about the same age, and we played football and baseball. Hello, Dottie. Hope you're having a good day. Like I said, I've been blessed all my life to have all these friends, and as a kid, say again, 3 different lives, like, as a child, and running around Freetown office on our bicycles and playing football and baseball and all that stuff, it just, there's a dozen of us or so, and growing up into middle school and high school, that same group of friends pretty well stayed together. I know as we went through from the grade school over to the middle school, I was introduced to a little bit farther out than just the ring of town, so I developed a few more friends. But when I went to high school, things kind of changed. I didn't develop a whole lot of friends in high school. Hello, Don Burdine. I mean, I did, but not close friends, Like I said before, that by then this thing I called the disease was kind of flaring up, and then people kind of fried me. I thought they'd better me, blah 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 blah, and all that stuff. But I'm not going to go into that about that right now. I'm going to go into the friends things about the morning meditation yesterday, and I remember, when we all started using together. It's good to see you too, Dottie. It's good to see you too. And I know you're blessed, dear. I've been around you. But like I say, when we started using, a bunch of us started using together, the same core group basically that I grew up with. And we was tight for years. Shit, for years and years and years, and but at some point in time, what I called the disease, progressive disease in me, and I could see it after looking back. I could see it in them today. Some of them had it, some of them didn't. As we started developing different habits, we started developing different friends. And some of the friends that didn't develop them habits, they stayed in their group. And these group of friends, basically separated into different groups of friends. And I still have the love for them today that I had for them back in, but we wasn't doing the same things, And toward the end of my addiction, this core group that started out with me, you know, the core group that hung with me just kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And the friends that I let back into my life, hello, Seth, how are you doing today? Like I say, the core group that I started with in Freetown was dismantled, basically. And up here in the last 4 or 5 years of my addiction, they maybe want one or two of them, you know, if that many. And the dozen that I had around me then was fiends like me, you know. Like the literature I read tells me, you know, the friends I was running with at that point in time had come to the point where our whole minds and thinking was centered in using, finding means and getting more, you know. Good morning, Bob Gillespie. And as things continue to deteriorate in my life, and I can feel safe to say it in their lives too, and I really don't know about what's going on in my initial friends' lives, you know, because I wasn't with them anymore. But anyway, this happened over a course of many years, you know. In the last maybe 5 or 6 or 7, that's when a lot of changes took place. And when I got clean, it happened so fast it kind of blew me away, you know, because I had no idea I was going to come out of jail and stay clean. And you know, I remember thinking, hello, Lisa Easton. I remember thinking when I was in jail, you know, when I got out of jail, how I wished it would have never got that far, and I wished it was like it was, you know, like in the beginning, you know. But I was kind of like wanting to go back before I got on the shit, you know, and that was fucking 15 years prior, you know. And a lot of stuff I know today, a lot of stuff happened in each one of our relationships that pushed us in different directions, you know. And I'm sure they got a lot of love for me. Like I said, I got a lot of love for them. And but in my mind, you know, when I got clean, it was like, you know, I wanted it to go back that way. I wanted to be running around partying with them, you know, and just drinking beer and smoking pot, and, you know, and just doing the things we all done together for all those years, you know. And it was like in my mind, it was kind of, you know, it's kind of like that was yesterday, you know what I'm saying? When in reality, it was 15 or 20 years ago. And there was a lot of water under the bridge for a lot of us, you know. And that water under the bridge kept me isolating from them. As much as I wanted to be with them, you know, I had done things, you know, that I really wasn't proud of at all, you know. And again, my mind was going back to that core group of friends, you know. And that core group of friends weren't running together anymore, you know. Each one of those friends, I can see today that almost each one of those friends had developed other core groups of friends, you know, because I can see that today, you know. And it just wasn't like I thought it was in my head, you know. I mean, again, I'm sure I got to quit saying again. I say it all the time, but it's just trying to tie stuff together. You know, I had this thing in my mind. It's like a fantasy. It was a reality at one time, but it wasn't that way anymore, you know. And it was kind of a fry, man, because I didn't know who I was anymore. You know, I had all these friends, you know, from all these stages in my life, but I had no idea who I was, you know. I look in the mirror and I could recognize my face, but I didn't recognize none of the feelings and emotions I was having, you know. It was odd that I looked in the mirror and that dude that I was looking at thought using dope wasn't cool anymore, you know. It was odd that when I looked in the mirror and I seemed to recognize his face, that guy didn't think running up and down the road drunk was cool anymore. But I don't know how to explain all that, you know, and I'm not really trying to, but I know the first 2 or 3 years after I got off the shit, you know, I would go back to a couple places that I went to, you know, these people I was super tight with. And when I went back there, there was just a few of them there, and then there was a bunch of strangers, you know what I'm saying? That's why I was getting back into the things weren't like they were before, you know. And but when I was there, I drank when I was there, and I got high when I was there, and I felt like Greg when I was there. All the reality of life seemed to go away when I was there. You know, I was having fun. I was getting drunk. I was getting stoned. I was throwing horseshoes. I was eating fish. You know, and in the places I went at that point in time, man, I was dying on the inside, and that was like a solution. You know, but all the time I was there, I felt different. You know, and it's not got anything to do with them. It's what's going on inside of me. You know, what happened in my life. You know, and what I felt about the way things went down in my life, and it just, it was just like this wall, man. I loved them guys, but I felt different. I don't know how they felt about me. I assume they felt the same about me. You know, I mean, I don't know. You know, but hello, Shane Scott. Hello, Debbie Oddie. Again, there I said again. I could quit that. I would go down there, you know, and then I would sober up the next morning, and the depression would come back, and the anhedonia would hit, and all the problems would be there, you know, and the history would be back in my face again, you know, and it's like, fuck, you know, and I would isolate again. You know, I'd get up and go to work and do my thing at work, you know, until I got to the point there, you know, a couple of years after I got off the dope that I couldn't even do that. Hello, Michael Hyman. Love you, brother. And then, you know, maybe a few months down the road, I would go back to one of these parties, you know, to my friends, you know, and I would feel that as I would walk up to them before I had that beer in my hand or before I had that joint in my mouth, as I was walking up to them, oh God, I was so self-conscious, you know, it just fucking weirded me out until I started drinking, you know, and I would relax, you know, and I'd start getting high and I would relax and I would start doing those things, you know. And I would fall back into that thing. Oh, okay, I know who you are. You fit in now, Greg. You're here. You're right where you belong, man. You're high. You're stoned. Everything's good. You're with your friends. You know, everything's like it used to be. And then the party would end, you know, and I'd wake up the next morning and things weren't there like they used to be again, you know. What was happening, I was slowly going back, you know. That kept getting more and more appealing. You know, when I would leave one, I couldn't wait to the next one, but I wasn't doing it on a daily basis yet. Thank God I never started doing that, you know. But I really didn't want that, you know. I didn't want to drink. I didn't want to get high. I wanted to try to live like what I remember thinking in jail, like, how does the other people live, you know? Them people that I work with that don't get stoned and they don't drink, you know, or they do it occasionally. How do they do that, you know? I mean, how does them weird fuckers do that, you know? And I wanted some of that, I think, you know. I didn't want to run up down the road drinking, you know. For one thing, they was going to throw my ass in jail if they caught me, you know. I didn't want to be stoned all the time, you know. But that was the only thing I knew how to bring me back to who I thought I was. So I would go to my friends, you know. I don't know, man. It's crazy, you know. And I get involved in recovery, and they tell you you're supposed to change your people, places, and things, you know. And I thought, well, fuck, I ain't going to do that. That's the only damn place in the world I feel comfortable. You know, I'm not comfortable in my own skin, man. I'm not sure as the hell not comfortable sitting here with you strangers telling me that I need to change people that I'm running with. And as little as I was running with them, that was the only relief I found of this alienation, I guess would be the word for it, that I had for the human race, you know, that I had for myself. And it was a real struggle, man. And, you know, while I stayed in recovery, I talked about this the other day, I think, you know, but you know, I stayed in recovery and I did talk about Jerry being my sponsor and third step and all that stuff, you know. But that first year and a half I was doing that, I was still going back and doing those things, you know. And I was slowly starting to find some comfort in NA, you know, with a very few select people in there that I could call my friends, you know. I could identify with most everybody at that point in time, but I just couldn't get close to them, you know. And then I would go back down there, you know, and I'd do those things. And it's just a fry, man. I can't say we go through. I'd like to say we go through because I believe a lot of us go through that, you know, but I don't know that. This is a fry what I went through, you know. This is my story, you know, and I'm not supposed to talk for other people, and I'll try not to do that. But I stayed in recovery, and I started developing more friends, you know, and thank God Brad was there, you know, and he was the one telling me, you know, to go more meetings, Greg. Get out of Seymour. Not that Seymour was bad. He said, just like that thing I posted a while ago, man, enhance your inner circle a little bit. You know, he said, go to more meetings, get involved in service work, man. Get involved in the service work. That'll introduce you to different people. That'll make you more comfortable going to these other meetings, because this service work people is people coming from all different meetings from all different areas, you know. So I did those things, you know, and I developed new friendships. And my God, you know, the love I have in my life today, and the people I have in my life today is amazing, you know. And that's the very thing I did not want when I got clean. You know, I did not want new friends, you know, especially those new friends which tell me I need to change my old friends, you know. It was such a confusing time in my life. You know, and I know today I can go visit them friends, and I haven't in a long time. There's just a few of them, man, a handful of them, you know, that I care to go visit today, you know, that are dear to me. But I just don't do it much at all anymore. I can't think of the last time I've seen one of them other than maybe in a store or something like that. But this is what happens to me today, even with this clean time I got. You know, when I go to them places, I will catch myself, and they'll be drinking beer, smoking pot, you know, and I will catch myself staring at the beer, you know, or staring at the joint and telling myself, don't do that, Greg. Don't hit that. You know, it's like, and I'm not really wanting to, but there's something inside of me, man. Maybe it's just the disease of addiction. I don't know what it is, you know. I've got a few years clean, man. And if I'm around that, I've got to tell myself, don't do that. You know, don't smoke that weed. Don't drink that beer, and quit staring at it, stupid. It's fucking, it makes me feel weird, you know. And I love these people, you know, with all my heart. I love these people with all my heart, man. And it makes me feel weird being around them. You know, I tell people today, you know, I shared the other night, man, the reason I don't go around them people, man, and that's the reason I don't go, it's not because they're a danger to me or they're a threat to me or the life they're living is bad or the life they're living I don't approve of, and none of that stuff, man. I'm an addict. I love what I heard in AA the first time I heard it. It said, you know, once you're a pickle, you're always pickle. You can't take a cucumber and pickle it and turn it back into a cucumber, man. I'm a pickle. You know, I'm an addict. I'm not normal. I'm not a normie. You know, I can't drink and I can't get high. I can't use mind and mood alter. Hell, I can't eat donuts fucking with any, what's the word I'm looking for, you know, moderation. You know, I just can't. I don't do anything moderately. And thank God, you know, for the program and the people He's put in my life in this chapter of my life. You know, He blessed me with all those people growing up, man, all that good life. And I no matter how perfect my life was as a child and growing up, it would look like, man, I still had this disease, and it manifested itself through the use of fucking drugs, you know. And a lot of guys I run with, that didn't happen to them, you know. Apparently they didn't have that disease, or they didn't have it to the point, you know, as sick as I was, or whatever, you know. I changed, you know. I got sick. I got to where I couldn't handle it no more, and I can't go back that way, you know. And these programs that I've been involved in, you know, just like going over to jail last night, I told you, you know, I can't tell you how many wonderful friends I have made in the Brown County Jail over there. You know, you go over there, people will probably look at it from the outside and go, good Lord, what a bunch of heathens, you know. There are some wonderful fucking people in there. And they're just like me, man. They got this fucking disease, and I can see it in them. And a lot of them, once they start learning what they are, they say, oh, God, yeah, I got that. You know, I said, well, I am too, you know. I need them people in my life. And these recovery programs have put them people in my life so I don't have to sit up here by myself thinking I need to go back down there and hang out with my old friends. You know, I don't need to go around them, you know. It's not like it was anyway. You know, it's not the same little group. As much as I love each one of them as individuals, in my mind always goes back to the group, you know, to the parties. And, you know, I need people in my life today where I go visit with them. And I don't visit very much. I'm a hermit up here, and I love it that way. You know, it's not like I don't go places because I'm afraid I'm going to use. Right? I just love my home today. It's my spot, you know. And I love my family today, and them are the people I want to be around. And a lot of people tell me they got to leave their family, you know, and I can understand that if their family is like my friends are, you know, because I can't do that. You know, I need people in my life so I can go sit down and be comfortable and not be telling myself, don't do that, Greg. You know, don't drink that beer. I don't need to be sitting around in a spot where my mind is constantly going, don't. Because the first time I do, I'll be wanting to do it again. You know, I heard once, that the worst thing in the world that can happen to an addict is nothing. And in my mind, that means if I go down there and I haven't got to say, I go down there and I decide to drink, or I decide to take a hit, or just whatever, and nothing happens, that just fucking frees the door for me to do it again, man. Something needs to happen, man, for me. I need to be knocked upside the head or something, because I will almost immediately go back to that again. And thank God for the friends that God's put in my life today, in these recovery programs. I'm just amazed, how God works and how these recovery programs work, man. And if you're out there struggling this morning, you're feeling alone, and I'm not going to get off this, like I said the other day, if I'm on this thing talking, I'm going to be talking about recovery. I'm going to be living that, or I'll be living the dope life, because I'm honest enough with myself today to know that's the way it is with me. I don't have to fool myself today. I don't have to act like I don't have to act like I'm a normie. I don't have to act like I can drink socially. I don't have to act like I can smoke pot socially, because I cannot do those things. I think that's the coolest thing in the world for me to understand about myself. I don't know, man. I was talking, yesterday to them guys. I've got several friends that died over the last 2 or 3 years. They didn't believe there's a pickle. That's the only way I know how to put it. They didn't believe there's a pickle. And they went right back out there to them old places and old things and old peoples, and they died. I don't want to die. I don't want to lose my home. I don't want to lose my marriage. I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to lose everything I have. Because for me to go hang out with those social drinkers and the social users, that's where I would end up. Not saying that's where they're headed. I had the disease. That's where I was headed. And that's where I will go back to if I live that life, So, I don't know, man. I just want to talk about that a little bit, how it's just been blessed, man. I don't know. I like what Joel Osteen says, man. God puts people in your life for a season. Seasons in the sun. We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun. That's about what it was, Oh, I just happened to be one of them, I kind of consider myself lucky today to have this disease, and extremely lucky that I didn't die from it, because so many people have. It's through this disease that I've come to this place in my life where I don't party anymore, where I don't drink beer, and again, I'm not putting drinking beer down for anybody, or smoke pot, or whatever you want to do. I mean, I'm not trying to put that down. It's just like I can't live it. And this new life that I've found since I've quit doing those things just freaking amazes me. It amazes me. And I would have never found this life had I not had the disease of addiction. I would have never found this life, this loving God. I believe it with all my heart. I would have never come in contact with a loving God if I didn't have this disease of addiction. It took me to my bottom. It took me to my knees. And I give almost everything I had up for it. Well, hello, Patty. Hope you're doing well today. I don't know. I'm starting talking circles. I'm just grateful for the blessed lifestyle I lived in, and I'm grateful for this chapter and the new friends God's put in my life, and these recovery programs to put in my life. When I do go hang out, I guess again, when I do go hang out with them, I don't have to keep telling myself, don't do it. The people I have in my life today, and I'm not saying it wasn't like this before. But in the last 10 years, it was like this, if even worse, The friends I have in my life today, and one of my buddies was sharing yesterday, we actually care for each other. And I'm not saying the friends I had before didn't care for each other, but what we had in common was getting high, If we'd have cared for each other as a person, as a friend, learning how to be a true friend, this is what my buddy was sharing, so I'm sure I shared a little bit of what he was talking about. He said, I learned that real friends don't sit around and help each other get high. we don't help each other, get into messes. We don't. It's not. That's not what friendship's about. In this chapter of my life, anyway, it's about trying to help people get better, supporting someone rather than, fucking trying to do it for yourself all the time. I don't know. I didn't want to get into that, putting people down or anything like that. It's a beautiful day, man. And I'm just blessed. And I hope you all are too, I hope you all are too. I hope when I get on here, man, I know a lot of people that's not strung out like lab rats ain't on here like they are in the meetings, sometimes when I go to, when I talk about this stuff. Maybe you got people in your life, man, that maybe there's people in your life who are strung out like lab rats, which I hope they're not. But maybe I can give you, if I can help you understand if I can help you understand me a little bit. So there's a lot of common shit goes on in addiction, man. My buddy told me, he said addiction is just a simple term, or the definition for disease of addiction is a disease basically. It's something that has common symptoms that lead to a common end. And I know, without a doubt, these things I talk about are common for a lot of us. Not everyone, and we all got our own skeletons, and we all deal with things differently. And we don't all have it, but I know it's common. So, like I say, I hope if you got someone out there in your life, that you can't understand, maybe if you can understand me, maybe you can have a better understanding of them, that would be nice. Because I know, man, without a doubt, how it hurts to love someone who's an addict. I've been through that too. Like I say, I've lived all these different lives, man, and it's kind of a fry. I'm grateful for where I'm at today, that I'm not the active addict, that I'm not constantly worrying about somebody that I love in active addiction, and that I can understand better today, Well, you're welcome, Bob. You're welcome. Like I say, I know there's so many people out there that are hurting because they got loved ones in addiction, man. And I just like to shed a little light on that if I can. There's always hope, brother. There's always hope, man. Don't give up the hope, man. Don't give up the hope. Like I say, if anybody asks me what you think I should do, I say, get your ass to a meeting. The next person might tell you something different. Hello, Patty Miller. Hello, Sarah. How you doing today? Like I said, man, I love y'all. You have a nice day. If you got somebody out there, tell them to get their ass to a meeting. Find new friends. Develop a new life. Like Joel Osteen says, there's another season. There's another season. I'm going to let you guys go. I got to go visit an old friend. I'm not looking forward to it. He's not doing well, and this has really been a struggle in my mind. I don't even know why I brought that up here. I got to call a friend about it here in a little bit. But that's what we do in recovery. We call someone in recovery, talk about what our emotions and what we're going through. That's what I'm going to do here in a minute. All right, guys, gals, I love you. Have a great day. Thank you, Patty. I think it's what I'm supposed to do, Patty. I don't have to do it well, you know what I'm saying? But I've got to do it to stay clean myself. I've learned that in recovery. If I don't want to be smoking that weed, if I don't want to be drinking that beer, I've got to do what I'm doing right now. I got to be talking about staying clean, not getting high. I'm glad to know that too. I love y'all. I'm out of here. Have a great day, Patty, Sarah.